Welcome to our exploration of one of history's most pivotal events, the fall of the Byzantine Empire. For over 1,000 years, Byzantium, with its illustrious capital Constantinople, stood as the successor to the Roman Empire and a symbol of Christian dominance in the East. But in 1453, this ancient bastion fell to the rising power of the Ottoman Turks, forever altering the course of history. Join us as we unravel the complexities, battles, and political maneuvers that led to the end of the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine Empire emerged from the eastern portion of the Roman Empire, surviving the fall of Rome in 476 AD. Under the leadership of Emperor Constantine the Great, the city of Byzantium was renamed Constantinople in 330 AD, becoming the new capital of the Roman Empire. Situated strategically at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, Constantinople quickly grew into a center of trade, culture, and political power. During its early centuries, Byzantium was a beacon of stability and prosperity in a world where the Western Roman Empire was crumbling under the weight of barbarian invasions. The Byzantines preserved and transmitted the heritage of Roman law, Greek philosophy, and Christian theology. They also developed their own distinctive culture, blending classical influences with Eastern traditions, resulting in the unique Byzantine art, architecture, and religious practices that would influence both the Christian and Islamic worlds. The reign of Emperor Justinian I, from 527 to 565 AD, marked the zenith of Byzantine power. Justinian embarked on a series of ambitious military campaigns aimed at reuniting the Roman Empire. His generals, Belisarius and Narses, reconquered much of Italy, North Africa, and parts of Spain. Justinian also commissioned the construction of the Hagia Sophia, a masterpiece of architecture that stood as the world's largest cathedral for nearly 1,000 years. Justinian's reign also saw the codification of Roman law in the Corpus Juris Civilis, or Justinian Code, which laid the foundation for the legal systems of many modern European nations. However, Justinian's ambitious projects left the empire financially strained, and the empire was soon beset by new challenges, including the Plague of Justinian, which decimated the population and weakened the state. Following Justinian's death, the Byzantine Empire entered a period of contraction and transformation. The empire faced relentless pressure from external forces, including the rise of the Islamic Caliphates in the 7th century. The Arab Muslim armies quickly conquered Byzantine territories in the Levant, Egypt, and North Africa, reducing the empire to a smaller, more defensible core. The Byzantine Empire responded with a series of military and administrative reforms. One of the most significant was the creation of the theme system in the 7th century. Under this system, the empire was divided into military districts or themes, each governed by a strategos who held both civil and military authority. This decentralized system allowed the empire to respond more effectively to external threats, and the themes became the backbone of Byzantine military power for centuries. The Byzantine navy also played a crucial role in defending the empire's territories, particularly against Arab and later Viking and Slavic invasions. The Byzantines developed Greek fire, a mysterious and highly effective incendiary weapon that could burn even on water, giving them a significant advantage in naval battles. Despite these challenges, Byzantium experienced a cultural and military revival during the Macedonian dynasty, from 867 to 1056 AD. Under emperors like Basil II, known as the Bulgar Slayer, the empire expanded its borders, defeating the Bulgarians, Arabs, and other rivals. The revival of classical learning, combined with the flourishing of Christian theology and art, marked this period as a Byzantine Renaissance. The 11th century was a turning point for the Byzantine Empire, marking the beginning of its long decline. The empire faced new threats from both the east and the west. In the east, the rise of the Seljuk Turks posed a significant challenge. The Seljuks, a nomadic Turkic people who had embraced Islam, rapidly expanded their territory at the expense of the Byzantines. Their victory at the Battle of Manzikert in 1071 was a catastrophic defeat for the Byzantines. Emperor Romanos IV Diogenes was captured, and much of Anatolia, the heartland of the empire, was lost to the Seljuks. This defeat led to widespread panic and instability within the empire. In the aftermath, the Byzantine government struggled to maintain control over its remaining territories. The loss of Anatolia, which had been a vital source of grain, manpower and revenue, severely weakened the empire's ability to defend itself. Simultaneously, the Byzantine Empire faced growing pressures from the West. The investiture controversy, a struggle for power between the Pope and the Holy Roman Emperor, created tensions that extended to the Byzantine Empire. The Great Schism of 1054, which formalized the split between the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church, further isolated Byzantium from the West. The Byzantines found themselves increasingly surrounded by hostile forces, both Christian and Muslim. The Byzantine Empire's precarious situation led Emperor Alexios I Komnenos to seek help from the West, leading to the launch of the First Crusade in 1096. Although the Crusaders were initially welcomed as allies, their presence soon became a double-edged sword. The Crusaders' victories in the Holy Land did little to secure Byzantium's position, and relations between the Crusaders and Byzantines were often strained by mutual distrust and conflicting interests. The Fourth Crusade, however, was a disaster for Byzantium. In 1204, the Crusaders, diverted by Venetian merchants and Byzantine exiles, turned their attention to Constantinople. The city was brutally sacked, and the Byzantine Empire was fragmented into several smaller states, including the Latin Empire of Constantinople, the Empire of Nicaea, and the Despotate of Epirus. The sack of Constantinople was a cultural and economic catastrophe. Priceless relics, artworks, and manuscripts were either destroyed or looted, many of them finding their way to Western Europe. The empire's infrastructure was devastated, and it never fully recovered from the blow. Although the Byzantines, under the leadership of Michael VIII Palaiologos, recaptured Constantinople in 1261, the empire was a shadow of its former self. It was now a small, impoverished state, surrounded by hostile powers. While Byzantium was weakened, the Ottoman Turks were on the rise. The Ottoman dynasty, founded by Osman I in the late 13th century, expanded rapidly under his successors. By the mid-14th century, the Ottomans had crossed into Europe, establishing a base in the Balkans. The Ottomans were not only skilled warriors but also adept at consolidating power through a combination of military prowess, diplomacy, and tolerance of religious and ethnic diversity within their empire. The Ottomans used the decline of Byzantium to their advantage, gradually encircling Constantinople. Under Sultan Murad I and later his successors, the Ottomans conquered much of the Balkans, including the critical city of Thessaloniki. The Byzantine Empire, now reduced to the city of Constantinople and a few isolated territories, was completely dependent on Western aid, which was slow and insufficient. Emperor John VIII Palaiologos, in a desperate attempt to secure military assistance, agreed to the Union of Florence in 1439, which sought to reunite the Eastern Orthodox and Roman Catholic churches. However, the union was deeply unpopular in Byzantium, where it was seen as a betrayal of Orthodox faith and traditions. The hoped-for Western aid never materialized in significant force. In 1451, Sultan Mehmed II ascended the Ottoman throne. Ambitious and determined, Mehmed had a clear goal: the conquest of Constantinople. He prepared meticulously for the assault, building the fortress of Rumeli Hisari on the European side of the Bosporus to control naval access to the city. Mehmed also assembled one of the largest and most well-equipped armies of the era, including the famous Janissaries, an elite infantry force that formed the backbone of the Ottoman military. In early April 1453, Sultan Mehmed II laid siege to Constantinople. The Byzantine defenders, led by Emperor Constantine the Great Palaiologos, were vastly outnumbered. The Ottoman army, numbering between 80,000 and 100,000 men, included a formidable artillery corps with giant cannons, designed by the Hungarian engineer Orban. These cannons, particularly the basilica, were capable of hurling massive stone balls at the city's ancient walls, causing significant damage. The defenders, numbering around 7,000, including a small contingent of Genoese soldiers under Giovanni Giustiniani, made a valiant stand. They relied on Constantinople's formidable Theodosian walls, which had protected the city for centuries. The Byzantines also used Greek fire to devastating effect against Ottoman ships and soldiers. Despite the relentless bombardment, the city held out for several weeks. The Ottomans attempted to breach the walls through frontal assaults, mining operations, and even constructing